Today I'm across from a legendary Broadway star who originated the roles of Deena Jones in Dreamgirls and Muzzy Van Hosmere in Thoroughly Modern Millie. Now, after 13 long years away, she's back on Broadway playing Madame Morrible in Wicked. Let's turn the cameras on a diva simply sitting, Sheryl Lee Ralph.
I love that. Thank you.
How are you?
I am great, and it's great to be here.
Oh my God.
Look at your new digs. You've got cameramen, camera space. I love this, and look at this. There's no people like show people. Yes, like yo people. I love it. This is all
I'm
very
so
good.
thrilled you are on Broadway.
No.
I was worried you weren't coming back.
If you think you're thrilled, imagine how I feel. And it's the fact that it's Wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're the biggest hit ever.
How about that? I got to tell you a story. 10 years ago, it was about 10 years ago, because my son was about 13. I bought my son and my nephew to see Wicked.
Okay.
My first thought was, if they would ever cast a black woman as that PR character, I could wear that role out. I could do that. My son said, "Oh, Mommy, I love show business. I've got to be in this." My nephew said, "Auntie Sheryl, everybody's going to think I'm crazy, but I got to be on Broadway." My son has now graduated from Drexel, is a filmmaker and an actor.
Okay.
He actually makes money out of it. My nephew is one of only, I think, 2 black male stage managers in Equity and actually working.
Wow.
And here I am as Madame Morrible.
That's all because of Wicked? Wicked inspired all this?
Yes, it was
I
sitting
love
there at
that.
the show. All of that from this one show. I love this show.
It's amazing.
It is an amazing show. And I'm happy to start this lucky 13th year with them.
Yes, absolutely. We love the Wicked. We love
Yes.
the Wicked here. And you're the first black Madame Morrible on Broadway.
How about that?
How about that?
You know, when I think of all the times eons ago when we were doing Dreamgirls, what it was like when we were saying, can you consider hiring Asian actors to do Miss Saigon?
Right.
Can you just consider that, and to see that actually happening, then to see taking it a step more and saying, why couldn't Madame Morrible be a black woman?
Right. Yeah.
You know, as far as that is, why couldn't Dr. Dillamond be a woman?
Right. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
You know, so I'm very, very happy to be crashing yet another glass ceiling.
I love it. I love
Thank
it. Crashing
you.
glass ceilings for a living. Now, and no disrespect to all the amazing women who have played Madame Morrible,
Because
but I'm
they've
pretty
been some incredible women.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you're the most glamorous Madame Morrible in the history of Wicked. Let's
what
just
they
get that out there.
That's what they say.
And that wig looks great on you.
Oh my gosh.
The wig.
They took such care and attention to meet me, to make sure that they just didn't get another Morrible wig and put it on my head.
Yeah.
You know, because very often, sometimes shows can be rigid like that.
Right.
You know, they don't take the time to say, okay, what colors are going to go well with this particular actor. They didn't do that.
No, they don't do that at Wicked.
Right.
You got your own wig.
Yeah, I got my own everything and a color to suit me, especially since they wanted it, you know, either the white hair or the fair blonde hair, but what was going to look good on my complexion.
Right.
You know, they completely.
Because she usually powders her face white. I mean, that's Madame Morrible's look.
Exactly.
So we got a whole new Madame Morrible.
Exactly. Joe came down for makeup. He oversaw the creation of the new makeup for the character. I mean, being down there at Tricorn, at the new nips and the tucks they did in creating the costume, it's been a wonderful experience. The only thing that did not work out well were the shoes. I said, hold up, $1,000 a pair for custom-made shoes, and they don't fit my foot? Something's very wrong here. I was like, I can't wear this. My foot swole up so bad.
We're going to figure it out.
Exactly.
Because Sheryl Lee Ralph has to be comfortable.
I got to be comfortable.
I'm not going to have you back on Broadway
Thank
with
you.
uncomfortable feet.
Thank you. The feet cannot hurt. Mother has been through that. No.
So I've already heard amazing buzz emanating out of the Gershwin. Everyone loves you backstage. Like all the kids. How's the Wicked family? How are all the Wicked kids?
This is a gift because they're also deeply talented.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the few shows that if you see in your playbill that an understudy is going on, trust me, you're not losing anything because they're just as talented.
Yeah.
They're going to bring something different, but they're just as talented. You know, the person that has the regular duty of doing the role, of course, that's a well-oiled machine, but you will lose nothing from seeing an understudy. You'll get something different, but equally as talented. You don't see that a lot.
Right.
The set, the way the crew takes care of that set and polishing it up, keeping it brand new. I was like, baby, this is a well-oiled billion-dollar machine. If you know, when they talk about the Hollywood machine, that's the Broadway machine right
Broadway
there.
machine.
And I love being in it. Let me be just a tick in your talk, baby. Yes.
I love Morrible because Morrible is the first person who calls Elphaba wicked.
She names
You get to
her
say wicked. I love that part. That's
she
like a big
names
moment.
her the Wicked Witch.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's interesting for me because I was telling somebody this is all about green girl magic.
Yeah.
This green girl is so amazing in her talent, her skill as a real force.
Right.
You know, she is so amazing in the fact that she's got such potential. And it is only because people cannot control her. They cannot get her to do what they want her to do, that they say, we'll ruin you. We'll ruin you before we let you succeed. The girl, the witch, the young witch is called wicked only because she is wonderful.
Right.
And they say, you know what? We can't use you. You're wicked. Right. Yeah, let's just tell him you're dishonest. You're evil. You're responsible for all of this.
Getting your Morrible. I love it. I'm getting it.
And the people believe it.
Yeah.
And that's how she becomes wicked, even though she's not wicked at all.
Yeah.
She's wonderful. I love this. I said every time I see Elphaba sing Defying Gravity, I'm like, I am that green girl. I am green girl magic. I get that. I understand that.
So let's talk about you as a girl because, obviously you were Deena Jones in Dreamgirls, and I mean, like you're just an icon to me. I mean, it's amazing to even ever have any interaction with you because I just adore you.
Thank you.
And Jennifer Holliday was here a few weeks ago, and it was so great to see her too.
Can you believe?
And you guys are both on Broadway, and the anniversary is
Broadway?
happening, right?
That's
and
crazy.
I know it's amazing. It's amazing. Where's Loretta Devine? Where's
Loretta?
Loretta?
She's in L.A.
I know, but let's get her here.
I'm telling you, there's a little bit of inkling that she may be coming too. So we'll see.
From your mouth.
I'm telling you.
Don't tease me.
Oh, I'm telling you. There's something that's being worked on that just might get here sooner than later.
But I want to hear about, I know you were born in Connecticut. You grew up mostly in Long Island. And Jamaica.
Jamaica, West Indies, not Jamaica, Queens.
You accomplished so much before you were like 20. I mean, you had such a crazy teen years. Like when I read about everything you did, and I just go like, how did all that happen? What kind of, I mean, and you are such an inspiring, just hearing you talk about like the weather is inspiring. I mean, just the way you talk is you're a very positive, empowering kind of person.
Thank you.
Where did that power come from? And you talk about Elphaba the Green Girl. What were you like? Was there ever an awkward Sheryl Lee Ralph?
Oh, God, I'm so much
Elphaba. And you're gorgeous.
Elphaba.
I mean, you came out gorgeous. So.
Thank you. But I'm that funny-looking little girl. You know, I'm the original Butterface. You know, great personality, Butterface.
Really?
Oh, my gosh.
I can't picture that.
Oh, no, trust me. My parents have the pictures. In fact, I was so funny-looking, when we looked through family albums, my mother could not figure out which one is me. That's how funny looking. My mother, I said to my mother, I said, look at that picture, Mom. She said, well, who is that? I said, Mommy, that's me. She said, Lord God, Sheryl, you never look like that. But that's how much of the green girl I was. But it really was the fact that I really was so being held down by gravity.
Okay.
You know, I was the only little black girl in my school. I was the only one. I was going to defy gravity, that I started developing other parts of me. You know, my magic had to be my ability to speak. My magic had to be my ability to connect with people. My magic had to be for people to see me as a real person, not just as a color coming at them as a child of the 60s.
Right.
So that's really where it came from. Also, the encouragement of my mother and my father, that no matter what, that I was beautiful, no matter what, I was smart. No matter what, I was capable, and I believed them. And so I became those things.
Wow.
You know, so when I graduated high school at 16, it was like, yeah, well, we're going to go to college. And then
And you graduated Rutgers when you were how old?
19.
You were done at 19.
I was finished, baby. It
And
was
you
a
were
wrap.
pre-med and all. But wait,
That was
let's go
it.
back. So you were from a very white town in Long Island?
Oh, yeah. I mean, at that time, Hempstead, Uniondale were
Okay.
about as white bread as you
Okay.
can get. In my junior, senior class, there were maybe 36 black kids.
Okay.
Maybe out of 1,000. That was
Wow.
when you had large classes.
right,
You know, we
yeah.
had like 900 kids in our senior
Right.
year. You know, that school was filled to the brim.
They did Oklahoma in your high school,
Oklahoma.
right?
Yes.
And you got cast as Ado Annie.
Yes.
And you were the only, were you the only
I
black?
was the only black girl. Now, this is very interesting. Friday, Saturday, Sunday performances. The best one gets Saturday night, but then there was me.
You mean you
The
you
best
you
out of
shared the role with other people?
share the roles.
Okay.
So the best one gets Saturday night,
Right.
but then there's me. The other person gets Friday and Saturday nights. And I remember Mr. Martindale. He was like, you got to cast her. Says, you can't cast her. And they were like, but she's black. And they were like, but she's the best. And they said, but she can't do Saturday night.
Oof.
And somebody said, well, I think maybe it'll be better if she does do Saturday night, because then that many people won't be exposed to her.
And you knew all this conversation was happening?
Yeah, because my dad was the principal at Wyandanch.
Oh, my
So my
God.
dad heard what was going on. And it was, once again, you have to think about these things. I ended up getting the best night because they didn't want me to be seen. So it worked out to the best for me.
Why don't people go on Saturday? I don't get the logic.
I don't know. I guess more people would see the person on Friday and Saturday.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I
you
don't
did
get it, but it worked
But
out
now-
perfectly.
so- and Ado Annie was like she's the little slutty girl. Let's
I'm
let's
just
go
the
there.
girl
She
who
can't say no.
Yes, John Machida actually was cast against me as Abu Ali, whatever the other.
Ali Hakim.
Ali
Hakim.
Hakim.
Yeah.
Yes, that was John Machida, who's now Hollywood's the fastest talking man in Hollywood. Whenever you hear somebody talking very, very fast, that's John Machida. Anyway, he went on out to Hollywood too. Now he talks. He's a fast talker.
Oh wow. So, but was that similar to your personality? Were you like dating, and were you popular? And were
No. I was very unpopular.
were still Butterface?
I was still Butterface, but I
When
was,
did you get pretty? What? Because
oh my goodness.
when did it all turn around?
I think
you
it-
won a pageant too.
I was Miss Black Teenage America pageant, Miss Black Teenage America, New York State, first runner-up. Everybody says I won, but I was first runner-up. The winner is actually Denise Woods. She's in Hollywood. She's a coach to all of the stars.
Everyone's in Hollywood.
Yeah, and I think it started happening after that. It probably was after Glamour magazine. I won top 10 college women in America.
That's crazy. How did that happen? How do they know you're one of the most amazing college women in America? Glamour
What
magazine.
happened was I saw a young woman, Earlene Berry, her picture. She was the black girl the year before, and I said, if she can do it, I can do it. So I sent in my information, and they chose me.
I love it.
And I became one of the top 10 college women in America. And in that sorority of sorts is Martha Stewart.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
really?
she was one of the top 10 college women back in
Okay.
the day.
Okay.
Yeah, and there have been some incredibly major women.
So
in that.
after you were Ado Annie,
Yes.
and after you almost won a beauty pageant, and after
Yes.
Glamour magazine noticed you,
Yes.
then you got pretty.
I think
Then
I
something
got,
clicked.
Yeah, I think I started to grow into my looks. That's why I always tell young women, don't mess with that plastic surgery.
Right.
You know, if
Right.
you don't really need it, but you're just trying to feed your ego, or
Right.
you just think you want to look like somebody on social media, don't do that to yourself, because you might grow and change.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think there are probably any number of things, had I been in this time, that I might have done, that if I did it, I wouldn't look the way I
Right.
look, and that would have changed everything. And I'm still growing and changing now.
Right.
It was funny. One of the young men backstage said, Miss Ralph, have you ever looked your age? And I said, never. I said, actually, I suffer from Benjamin Button disease. And he said, you really do? And I said, thank you very much.
You're reversing. I love it.
Yeah.
how did you get to New York? Were you one of those kids who was living on Long Island and like coming into New York and auditioning for things, or did you like come here and move here?
Let me tell you,
Were you living at home? What happened?
I was living at home for the longest time. My parents always said, as long as you are not asking us for money, you can stay.
Okay.
So that was it. I toured. I got a job with the Department of Defense, and I
Doing
toured.
what?
Yeah,
What were you
DOD.
doing?
I
What were
was
you doing?
singing.
Oh, singing.
I was singing. Believe it or not, I was part of an act with the Penthouse Pet of the Year, Annika DiLorenzo.
Okay.
And I got this job that paid me $1,000 a week.
Wow.
And I remember, it was a lot of money, baby.
Wow.
There's a lot of money to
70s.
this day. Shoot. Thank you. And I remember walking in there and I said, I can sing, but I can't sing naked. And this man, Bob Guccione, and his girlfriend from South Africa, they looked at me and they said, we already have the naked one. Now we just need another talent. And I was like, okay.
Wait, so you were singing, and the other lady was singing naked?
She was already naked.
Okay.
You know, the guys already.
Where were these shows happening?
They were all around the world,
Oh.
on different bases around the world.
To cheer up the guys.
To cheer up the guys.
Right.
And then they would be sad because there was no picture of me. I was like, no, I sing. I don't do that.
So how'd you end up on Broadway? Because you were in that show.
You know what happened?
Jamaica, right?
No,
Reggae.
no.
You were
I
in
was
the
in
show
Reggae.
Reggae.
Reggae, a friend of mine, Jeffrey Anderson Gunther, called me up and he said, Sheryl, get on. I was doing swing. I was doing swing.
What was swing?
Swing was about, Stuart Ostrow, big musical about a group of white kids who loved jazz, a group of jazz and baseball, a group of black kids who love jazz and baseball. They kind of intersect. Anyway, all I know is on the way to Washington, D.C., they dropped all the black kids and told us stylistically we did not fit in the show and left us on the side of the road.
What? Not literally. The bus stopped. The bus pulled over and they said, we just started to fire all the black kids. Get out.
They pulled over. You were in your hotel doing the, what was that theater?
It was like an out-of-town tryout.
Out-of-town tryout on the way to the Kennedy Center.
Okay.
They left us in our hotel. They left us like that. Left us. And I'm crying, and my friend
my
Jeffrey
God.
calls me in my hotel room and says, Sheryl, stop the crying. Get on the plane, the train, the bus, the first thing smoking. Michael Butler just fired the leading lady, and we need a Jamaican who can sing. That is you. Like in a movie.
Wow.
I show up 10 o'clock with my suitcase in hand. Michael Butler steps out of the doggone backstage door and says to Jeffrey, is this the girl you've told me about? And he said, yes. Jeffrey says, leave the suitcase. I go inside, I meet Michael Kamen, and they give me a piece of paper with a song called Everything That Touches You Touches Me. You say you're all alone with visions all your own. The things you feel, nobody feels the same. I remember it to this day. That man hired me right then and there.
Wow.
About 7 days later, I'm on stage with a script in hand opening Reggae on Broadway. Michael Butler. How about that?
That's crazy.
That's the truth. That's
So it
how that
happened
happened.
so fast.
It happened just like that. I think it was probably coinciding with the garbage strike and the newspaper strike. Either way, it closed.
Yeah, it
and
was
on one of the last performances with 6 people in the audience, one of them was Tom Ian.
Dreamgirls.
Tom Ian, who
Tom
had an
Ian,
idea
the great Tom Ian,
for a
who-
musical
who
called
co-wrote Dreamgirls.
Project Number 9. Tom Ian, that was my angel.
Okay, because I was going to ask you who saw you in that, and then you got involved in the development
Got involved with the development. I remember Loretta
Jones.
and myself. I created Deena Jones, and Deena is very much my personality. Some of the lines, her her mother wanting her to be a school teacher, to be respectable, because that was basically my mother. You don't waste time with show business. You must do something respectable. You must make honest money. So all of that comes out of, that sort of thing. And
Yeah.
Tom just put it into the character. And Deena was always the cheerleader with the velvet hammer. You had to get in line because if we were going to be famous, you had to be serious about being famous. So that was that, and we went on for about 3 years. And in between that, I did another tour of duty. So when
During Dreamgirls?
no, during the workshop
Oh,
process,
while you were
because it
getting
took
ready
us
for
about
Dreamgirls.
3 years.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
And then you did the show for a very long time. I mean,
Not long
did a
anymore. 1,247 performances.
that's a lot.
That's a lot. You know,
That's years.
3 years.
Right.
3 years of doing the show. But look, there's some folks down there at Wicked who've been doing the show for 8 years.
That's true, but you know the Deena Jones, you know, I mean that's and you weren't missing shows and
No, there was no such thing. I'll never forget, I got sick once, and Michael Bennett looked at me and he said, if you're sick, you're going to be sick on stage, and if you're going to die, you'll die there too. Oh, yeah. And he meant it.
Well, when Jennifer Holliday was here, we talked a little bit about how you guys have now developed this great friendship and
Yeah.
relationship, but
We've
then
grown
back then
up.
it wasn't so great. And a lot of that was Tom and Michael, sort of. She said you were Tom's girl, she was Michael Bennett's girl, and it was all the creating
All
the
of that.
tension, I guess, that maybe made the show work in some way.
Did.
But it must be weird to be a young girl and to be sort of a pawn in that and all that, right?
Yeah,
to
it
create all that.
It messed with my head.
Yeah.
Messed with my head. It messed with, how I felt about myself, especially singing, and I stopped singing, for a while because I felt inadequate as a singer. And people, you'd keep hearing that you couldn't sing, or people would say, just be pretty, just stand there and be pretty. And it sort of messed with my head. And at one point, I
Like
just
you're not
stopped
here for the
eating.
singing, you're here to be glamorous.
You're here to look good.
And Jennifer's going to do the singing, like that
Exactly.
kind of idea.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, and it sort of, it made
Yeah.
me start to shrink
Huh.
in some ways, which was, I hate it, but
Yeah.
we're over that.
Yeah. I just found on YouTube your disco music video. What's that song called? And then the night.
In the evening,
In the evening.
the real me comes alive.
God, now I just
can
want to
feel
mention
it.
random songs I want to hear you sing. 'Cause I love that you burst into song. I'm loving it.
In the evening,
That was a fun music video. I never saw that video before.
Oh,
You're like
my
a crazy
goodness.
homeless lady, and then
I've-
you're the glamorous Sheryl Lee Ralph.
that's right.
I love it.
I had that idea. I said, what would it be, that the homeless lady finds a pair of shoes, red jeweled shoes,
Yes.
that when she puts them on, she becomes this glamorous,
I love it.
wonderful creature and sings in the evening, the real me comes alive. Who knew it would turn into a gay anthem around the world? Some 25 years later, people are still watching that doggone YouTube video.
Yeah.
They are still remixing the song.
Right.
It hits the charts year after year somewhere in the world. It's amazing.
You must be used to being a gay icon, though. That's a natural state for you.
I love it.
Let's talk about Millie, can we? Thoroughly Modern Millie,
Yeah.
because I was actually I was at Broadway.com when Millie came, and it was so exciting. You were amazing as Muzzy.
Thank you.
And you sang only in New York, and it was an
Yes.
amazing 11 o'clock moment.
Thank you.
Loved hearing you sing. I still listen to you sing it on the album.
Oh, thank you.
What was Sutton Foster is obviously doing very well. And at
Sutton's done very well for herself.
yeah, look at
hasn't
that.
she?
And at that point, she was sort of the girl they threw in the lead, and
Exactly.
great
story.
What is your memory of her at that time? Because she talks about how terrified she was that whole time, and how
Don't
she was
believe
like
that.
laying on her dressing room floor trying to.
If she was terrified, she hid it very well.
Uh-huh.
When you talk about a performer who was prepared and ready to hit the stage, that was Sutton Foster each and every time. I always wear the eye of the tiger. Sutton Foster had the eye of the tiger. Some nights I would just look at her and I was like, yes, diva. Yes.
You guys had that great moment on stage together too.
Yes.
That Muzzy
the
Millie
green
moment.
glass
Oh,
moment.
I love that scene.
I will never forget
Tears.
one night. I couldn't remember not one line.
Really?
And this is Sutton looking at me. And it's supposed to be so heartfelt and all. This is Sutton. I couldn't remember not one thing. My green glass love. That's all I remember.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Whatever.
There you go.
And obviously, you've done so much great TV. I love you on Ray Donovan recently. I mean, I mean, you're still on Ray Donovan.
No, I only did the first 2 seasons.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not dead.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right,
Like, you
there
could come
you
back.
have it.
Yeah.
I could easily come back, and you never know. Since Liev Schreiber is coming to Broadway.
Yeah, he's on Broadway now, too.
Thank you. I think I should go back to
Yeah.
Ray Donovan. Why not?
You're
Quid pro
great.
quo, all of that.
I also want to give a shout out to one of my favorite TV shows as a child. It's a Living. It's
know
a
what?
Living.
That's a great show.
That show is amazing. I love that show.
Do you know I ran into Paul Kreppel the other day? He played the
Yeah,
piano
I
in
know
the
Paul
show.
Kreppel. He was great on that show.
I ran into Paul. I was like, oh my God, Paul, so good to see you. So
It was all cocktail waitresses, like at,
Yes.
at a swanky, like cocktail
swanky,
lounge. Yeah,
rotating
yeah.
restaurant
I
in
remember.
Los
I
Angeles.
loved it.
Yes.
Maybe there's a
What is
musical
it?
there. It's a
I
Living
think
the
there's-
musical.
Ooh, if Waitress can make it, It's a Living can
Yeah.
make it as a musical. Ooh, I love it. I
Yeah.
see it.
It's a
I
Living.
see it. Almost like, but wait a minute. Have you heard about what I'm producing? Mighty Real? Oh my gosh.
Oh, are you producing Mighty Real?
Oh my
The
goodness,
Sylvester?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Myself with Anthony Wayne and
Yes.
Kendrell. Let me tell you,
Okay.
that's
He-
going to be.
So Anthony did it a
Yes.
couple years ago in New
That's
York.
right.
So what's the plan for Mighty Real?
Well, we've got an incredible writer on board.
Well, wait, first of all, you have to sing a little bit of Mighty Real now that you said it.
You make me feel mighty real. You make me feel.
Oh, Mighty Real.
Thank you. There
Make
you
me
go.
feel- I know my Sylvester.
There you go.
Oh, I had a double CD of Sylvester of all of his hits. I know all those songs.
So then
in
you
and
see
out.
what the appeal of this
Yeah.
musical is for people.
Yeah.
And then Anthony in that role. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel every time I watch a performance of the show, I'm just like, yes, Anthony, do that. So I'm very excited. So we're moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know,
Awesome.
like Hamilton took quite a while.
Yeah.
Some things take a moment, but it's all
Did you ever
worth
meet
waiting
Sylvester?
for. Oh, I knew Sylvester.
Oh, you were friends with Sylvester?
Yes, Sylvester came to see Dreamgirls.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Oh, my dear. Who
Wow.
didn't come to see
Right,
Dreamgirls?
yeah.
But yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What are your favorite like backstage memories of Dreamgirls? Because that must have been such. I always wonder when somebody so much is happening in such a condensed period of time. And you're right. Like the
Yes.
kids at Hamilton are going through that right now.
Yes.
Like they're having this amazing, and then like life goes on.
That's right.
And all that happened in such a condensed period of time. But then it must be hard to process.
No.
That-
it is what
that-
it
You're
it
able
is
to
what
sort of
it
live in
is.
those moments?
Absolutely. And what I know was I got real handy at doing selfies back then. I learned how to position my camera. So, we have photographs. I loved meeting Sylvester Stallone. It's Sylvester Stallone, when he was a young man, oh my gosh, he was like that Italian stallion. He was like
Were you trying
gorgeous.
to work him when he came back?
No.
No?
None of
Okay,
that.
all right.
None of that.
Okay.
What's his name? Who else was really out? Robin Williams. It was great meeting Robin Williams. Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Loved Muhammad Ali. Loretta Devine took a picture with. I knew Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And he said, "I know you, but I'm going to take a picture with her." But I was like, I want to be in the picture. So I jumped in and photobombed it. Loretta hates the fact that I photobombed her picture with Muhammad Ali to this day. But Muhammad Ali was Diane von Furstenberg.
Oh, wow.
Diane von Furstenberg saw the show, delivered to me a bottle of her Volcan d'Amour, the perfume that she had at the time. I kept it for the longest time, and I still wear her dresses because I just remember her being so fabulous.
Yeah.
Anyone who was anybody, Luther Vandross used to come backstage all the time. Michael Jackson coming to see the show. Phyllis Hyman became a good friend. Melba Moore, who I loved seeing in Pearly when I was in school. You met
Everyone.
Sarah Dash from
You met everyone you
Patty
wanted to
from
meet.
LaBelle. And
mean, it was-
we met everybody you wanted to meet. You got
Yeah.
to meet. It was great, and it felt good because they loved you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but was even more special for me were young black girls who saw me on stage, Loretta,
Yeah.
Jennifer, who come years later and see me and say, "You made me feel so good about myself.
Absolutely.
I looked at you and realized that I was beautiful." Oh, does it get any better than that?
You have that your whole life. I mean, you're going to have that power of hearing that from people. I mean, it's amazing the
It's
impact you
so amazing, So I'm always thankful for the time at Dreamgirls, even the bad times, even losing your friends during the whole AIDS epidemic. It really changed me as a human being, but it really set me on a path of purpose, because I said, from this moment on, no matter what you think about my friends, no matter what you think about their sexual preference, no matter what you think, you will always know that my friends were good men, kind men, loving men. They were my friends.
Yeah.
And we will raise them up. And that's why I created Divas.
Yeah, Diva Simply Singing.
Yeah.
How many years now?
It will be 27 years next year.
you've
We
done
won't be able to
26.
do it in LA this year because I'm going to be on Broadway. But Philadelphia will have had the 26th annual Divas Simply Singing.
Right.
We're the longest consecutive running musical AIDS benefit in the country. And you know, when I think about being here at this time, all this time later, and I think about my friends, I know they're happy. They're like, you go, girl, right where you should be, and keep raising it up. So, you know, when every time we have the chance to, you know, to get out there and raise money and raise awareness to let people know that that happened in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're a total inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming back to Broadway.
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy they asked me to come back.
I wish you could have heard the cheers in the office when we heard you were coming back. When
Oh,
you posted that thing on
thank
social media,
you.
I'm coming back to Broadway, and I was like, Sheryl Lee Ralph's coming back to Broadway. What? Sheryl Lee Ralph?
Yes,
I can have her on the white chair.
baby. Yes. I'm so thrilled and happy to be in this show at this time, creating real magic. Yes.
Well said. So you're there, what, for 6 months until
I'm
spring?
there for 6 months.
Great.
Until spring. So if you have not seen Wicked, now is the time to come and see Wicked.
Or even if you have.
Even if you have, come back and see
See
it
the new
again.
Morrible.
Darling, mother is serving it up. There will be a change in the weather. I tell them every day, I said, I did not come to play with you witches. We're having a good time.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
it's a total
you.
pleasure. Go see Wicked at the Gershwin Theater, even if you've
right.
already seen it, and I'm sure you have, but you got to see Sheryl Lee Ralph on
Morrible
Broadway.
magic, baby. Morrible magic.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.